Hey guys, another Opinel review. Number 8, garden version. This, of course, usual, like 10-12 bucks. This is the stainless steel version, which is the 12C27 steel. Not the best on earth, not the worst on earth. You know, it takes a really nice, fine edge, but at the same time, you know, pretty easy to sharpen. You know, pretty simple. You can do it with most normal stones. You don't need anything special. Just, you know, edge retention isn't the best on earth. So let's zoom out and take a look at this bad boy. Typical locking collar of your Opinels. You know, I've done a couple videos on the Opinels recently, so you know I'm big time into them right now. You notice something a little different about this is the shape. It has that drop point blade instead of their usual clip point. See, this is actually a little dirty. I've been using this quite a bit. A little bit of a curved handle as well. That little teeny tiny lanyard hole. You're not going to get paracord through there, but maybe some jute twine. So this is a stainless knife, as I said, and has that unique blade shape, which is another thing I really like about it. So, like I said, these Opinels are decent for the money. It's a good way to get into folding knives, especially if you want something in the pocket. They're very lightweight. They're pretty tough. They're pretty rugged. You know, they do got some downfalls. You know, if you get them wet, they're very difficult to open and close. The wood can swell up on you. But they're, you know, they're great knives if you want to personalize a knife, because they are wood. You can sand these down, finish them, stain them, you know, carve things into them. There's a lot you can do with the handles, and a lot of different things you can do with the knife. There's a million different mods out there you can do for these things if you hunt around. But this one's very comfortable in the hand. That little hook on the end there really helps with this. And you know, I think the drop point blade style just looks really nice. And functionally, it's very nice as well. You know, these things have that kind of almost convex edge to them. Still, you know, that nice thin blade with the thin tip. And you know, it's essentially a full flat grind with a very slightly convex edge. I mean, these things are super easy to sharpen, and you really, you know, guys, you really don't have to sharpen these. If you hit them with a strop, you know, pretty often, these things actually, you'll pretty much never need to take the stones to them, because it is, that edge is so thin, and you know, it's slightly convex like that. You can literally just put these things on a piece of leather every so often, and they're just going to stay great. So overall, guys, another great addition. Really happy with it. And like I said, you know, I did some testing with cardboard, and these Opinels are great cardboard cutters because the blades are so thin, and that kind of convex grind also really tears up the cardboard. You know, it dulled pretty quick, probably like 30 linear foot, you know, so it wasn't, you know, it wasn't anything too crazy, but you know, nothing compared to the carbon steel, which got like 80 linear foot of cardboard it cut before it dulled. But this is in tune with, you know, a little below. I mean, ACR13 MOV does hold a little bit better of an edge, but the cool thing about this is even as this knife dulls, it's still very good at cutting because it is such a thin blade. You know, this thing, thin blade, that edge, it's just, it will keep going. You know, even with a dull edge, this thing will still cut, still slice, still go through all those things you need to go through, even though it is dull, because it just really good design. You know, even though you may lose that ability to shave hair and cut paper, this thing's going to be functionally a good knife for a long time.